Despite Disney and the mainstream media trying to convince everyone over the last few years that there's nothing wrong with the Marvel Cinematic Universe, it is undeniable that there were massive problems with Phase 4 of the MCU, and now starting Phase 5, between the box office failures and the TV series that people aren't watching on Disney+, it is undeniable that Marvel is in trouble. And if you thought it was going to get any better by the end of the year, well, in all likelihood, you're probably wrong, because coming down the pipe, we have the Marvels. Only a few months away at this point. Releasing on November 10th, we have what was originally going to be the Captain Marvel sequel that ended up turning into the Marvels. Characters that people do not care about. Characters that have failed time and time again in the comic books. That once again, Marvel decided to skip over so many great characters from its history and use these characters for some strange reason. Well, now in their most recent interview for a big sit-down promotional piece for Entertainment Weekly, we got more confirmation that the Marvels may in fact be just as cringe as everyone expects it to be. And of course, at each and every opportunity, they remind you that this is the first female-led Marvel film. Again, they gotta be the ones to break through the glass ceiling, to bust down barriers, and talk about how amazing it is to have so many strong, powerful women in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. Yeah, I think we've noticed that over the last few years. And then they even put out this tweet right here, which, listen, this is just fucking cringe. There's really no other way to describe it here. We've got Brie Larson's Captain Marvel. We've got Miss Marvel. And, of course, we have Photon. A triple threat. Let's go. Girl power, baby. And I jokingly tweeted, I can't wait for this movie. Hashtag the Marvels. Something tells me we're going to be talking about this a lot. Something tells me that the box office isn't going to do spectacularly well for this movie. But if you listen to them speak about it, you even get a better picture of that. It's all about identity politics. It's all about the gender representation. And here's this Bounding Into Comics article. After Disney CEO Bob Iger says he wants to keep company out of culture war, the company promotes the Marvels with identity politics. And we heard that. We've heard so many different platitudes from Bob Iger about how we're not involved in the culture war. We don't want to take a side. And then their actions speak completely and totally different. Just days after these comments, the first big promotional push for the upcoming The Marvels film sees Walt Disney promoting it through identity politics, one of the major weapons being used to attack Americans in the culture war. Speaking with Entertainment Weekly, Tiana Paris, who plays Monica Rambeau in the film, shared, I'm excited that the MCU has 3 lead women, all from very diverse backgrounds, and that they're all baddies in their own way. It's going to be really exciting to see these smart, fun, intelligent, and troubled women find their way. Brie Larson as well, of course. Brie Larson spoke out. Listen, I think Brie Larson has turned a corner. Ever since she liked my tweet a couple months ago, I feel like she really has turned the corner, and I'm rooting for Brie Larson. But anyway, let's look at what she says. I understand the feeling of being afraid to let go of control, being passed on responsibility to others. You almost want to take on all of the burden yourself. So I think it's an incredible metaphor for learning how to be in a team. It's a very clear example that no one person can do it all. You need all kind of skill sets, all kind of people with different viewpoints and different backgrounds in order to save the world. And listen, I don't mind that response. I don't mind that response too much. But now we get to Zoe, is that how you pronounce her name? Zoe Ashton, who plays a gender-swapped villain, because of course we couldn't have a man be the villain. We needed a strong, powerful woman who's probably misunderstood in some way, shape, or form. She probably has a really good reason for doing this. She was probably treated really badly by a man. That's just a guess. We'll see what happens. Who plays the gender-swapped Kree villain Dar-Ben, also made it clear it's a girl power film. This is an all-female sci-fi extravaganza with a woman on the other side of the camera. Oh, that's right. Did I tell you it's being directed by a woman, Nia DaCosta? Maybe you didn't realize that. Of course it is. I felt very moved actually being involved with it. It's not an environment you're often in. A huge budget movie. Trust me, we're going to be talking about the budget. It's predicted right now at $200 million. It is likely above that. It's likely $250 million or more. We just saw with the reporting for Doctor Strange Multiverse of Madness, they said that was $200 million. When all of the documents finally had to go through in the UK, we found out they actually spent $350 million on that movie. Like, they are way underreporting the budgets on these things. But anyway, a huge budget movie with all these badass women and Samuel L. Jackson, that just doesn't happen. No, there's not too many huge budget movies that are set up like this. That's true. And now, Aman Villani, who plays Miss Marvel, I do have to give her credit. She is someone who really cares about the comics, who really cares about this stuff, and reportedly was very upset they had some changes to the lore in Miss Marvel. Nonetheless, Miss Marvel's a character that is despised. Miss Marvel's a character that's failed over and over and over again in the comic books. And Aman Villani says something that's just not accurate when it comes to these characters. She says, "We're really lucky because we have such a plethora of female characters with real flaws and real arcs. Time and time again, it's proven not only do these stories have such a robust fan base, but they sell." That is not true. We've talked about this. The amount of time that Captain Marvel's been rebooted, the amount of times that Miss Marvel has had to be canceled and shelved and started over again or killed off for a cheap trick. Like, they do not sell. That's the reality. Marvel has failed with these characters, and they decided to put them front and center in this movie and in the MCU. However, she then declared, Marvel's always championed the idea of finding the idealized version of yourself through their characters, a version of yourself that can fly in space or stop a train. I think that aspiration to be greater than who you are is such a universal feeling, regardless of gender identity. You mean regardless of whether you're a man or a woman? Is that what you meant to say? Regardless of gender identity? I hope people recognize that and find ways to identify with all of our characters. This is setting up to be Marvel's biggest failure yet. Now, Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania made somewhere around $450 million worldwide on a reported $200 million budget. Was probably more than that, but that's what it's reported as of right now. This one, do we think this one's going to do better or worse than Ant-Man and the Wasp: Quantumania? I guess only time will tell. But what do you guys think about the new behind-the-scenes look at Marvel's first all-female movie? This is going to be a disaster. Smash a like button, subscribe to the channel, ring the bell for notifications, share this video out there, and I'll talk to you later.